Art of War, the way of survival in a game of wisdom. Why war never fades. Human history seems inseparable from war. From the rivalries of the spring and autumn and warring states periods to today's economic battles, conflict is a constant shadow. Why does peace feel so fleeting, while war keeps resurfacing like a stubborn illness? This question haunted the ancients, and it still lingers in our minds today. Enter the art of war, not a call to bloodshed, but a wise man's deep reflection on survival and strategy. Sun Tzu, with just 13 concise chapters, tackles an eternal puzzle. How do we find order in chaos and seize victory in a crisis? This book, born over 2,000 years ago in the late spring and autumn period, remains a treasure for generals, CEOs, and everyday people alike. What's its secret? It's more than a military manual, it's a guide to wisdom and human nature. Let's step into this timeless conversation and see how Sun Tzu lights up the battlefield and our lives with insight. Chapter 1: Plan before you act. Victory is decided before the fight. Sun Tzu kicks off in the opening calculations chapter with a bold truth. War is a matter of vital importance to the state, a realm of life and death, a road to survival or ruin. It must be examined with care. War isn't a game, it's a decision that shapes a nation's fate. He lays out the 5 factors and 7 measures: morale, timing, terrain, leadership, and systems, plus questions like who has the stronger cause, better generals, or control of time and place. Think about it. If a general doesn't know the enemy, the land, or his own troops' spirit, how can he win? This isn't abstract theory, it's Sun Tzu's razor-sharp take on reality. Let's look back in time. During the Warring States period, Sun Tzu mastered this in the Battle of Surrounding Wei to rescue Hao. He didn't clash head-on with Wei's army. Instead, he struck their capital, Dalian, forcing them to rush back and save it, winning with a smaller force. Sun Tzu calculated Wei's mindset, threatened their home, and they'd abandon the fight. He didn't rush into battle, he set the stage for the enemy to stumble. Sun Tzu nails it. Victorious armies win first, then fight. Defeated armies fight first, then seek to win. The seeds of triumph are planted long before the swords clash. Take another example, the Battle of Gaixia during the Chu-Han contention. Liu Bang faced off against Shang Yu but didn't charge in recklessly. He teamed up with Han Xin and Peng Yu to chip away at Han's power from the edges, then used the songs of Chu from all sides to break their morale. Shang Yu was fearless and fierce, but without a plan, he ended up taking his own life by the Wu River. Liu Bang's win came from that pre-battle groundwork. Diplomacy and mind games sealed the deal. Today, this still holds true. Imagine a company launching a new product. Don't they first study the market, size up competitors, and check their own resources? Jump in blind, and the cash just vanishes. Planning before acting means swapping impulse for reason, luck for strategy. Sun Tzu's lesson is clear. Whether on the battlefield or in life, success starts with careful thought. Ever paused before a big choice and asked yourself, am I ready? Chapter 2: Know Yourself, Know Your Enemy. The War of Information. In the Planning Offensives chapter, Sun Tzu writes, know your enemy and know yourself, and you'll never lose 100 battles. Know yourself but not your enemy, and it's a toss-up. Know neither, and you're doomed every time. Information is the lifeblood of war. Without it, a general's just groping in the dark. It sounds simple, but it's the golden rule of any showdown. Whoever holds more truth holds the edge. History gives us a perfect example with Han Xin during the Chu-Han struggle. In the Battle of the Backwater, he backed his troops into a corner on purpose, sparking their do-or-die grit, while sending spies to spread rumors and rattle Shang Yu's camp. He knew his own weakness: fewer troops, less experience, and he pegged Shang Yu's flaw: overconfidence. With just 20,000 men, Han Xin crushed 200,000 Chu soldiers, a miracle born from understanding both sides. That's the power of knowing yourself and your foe, facing your limits while exploiting their cracks. Now picture the Battle of Red Cliffs in the Three Kingdoms era. Cao Cao had a 1,000,000-strong army, but he didn't get southern water warfare and fell for Huang Gai's fake surrender, only to watch Hou Yu's fire attack torch his fleet. Hou Yu and Huzliang had scouts digging into Cao's setup and used northern wind patterns to plan the blaze. Cao Cao knew his own strengths but missed the enemy's game plan, and it cost him everything. Sun Tzu saw it. Information isn't just power, it's survival. This plays out in our world too. Say you're negotiating a deal and don't know the other side's cards too soon, and they've got you cornered. But if you've scoped out their needs, budget, even their personality, you can tailor your move and win. A salesperson might check a client's social media to spot their hobbies, then tweak the pitch suddenly, it's a slam dunk. Sun Tzu's wisdom says it all: when info's uneven, you lose. When you dig for it, you triumph. Next time you're picking your move, will you ask, what's my opponent thinking? Chapter 3. Win without fighting, the ultimate wisdom. Back in planning offensives, Sun Tzu drops another gem: winning 100 battles isn't the best. Making the enemy surrender without a fight, that's the real genius. He's saying constant victories aren't the peak, true brilliance is winning without firing a shot. He ranks the top tier is breaking their plans, next is breaking their alliances, then fighting their troops, and last is attacking their cities. Spring and autumn's Guanhong lived this out. When Duke Huan of Qi aimed to dominate China, Guanhong didn't push for all-out war. He hit enemies with trade bans and built coalitions to weaken them. He got the lords to boycott Chu's goods and pulled Jin into isolating Chu, forcing them to bow without a battle. This no-fight win kept Qi strong and hit the goal. Sun Tzu's point is that war's costs in lives, wealth, and time can be dodged with smarts. Then there's Tian Dan in the Warring States period, reclaiming Qi. Facing Yan's siege, he didn't slug it out. He spread tales that Qi feared Yan harming their sacred oxen, then unleashed a midnight fire ox stampede. Yan's troops panicked, fell apart, and Tian Dan took back Qi's lands with barely a scratch. That's peak breaking plans. He crushed their will with a mind trick. Today, this nudges us toward non-clashing fixes. At work, vying for a project with a coworker, don't butt heads, team up or share resources for a win-win. At home, arguing with family, skip the shouting match and find common ground. Like a couple bickering over chores, if one suggests a fair rotation with a clear schedule, tension melts away. Sun Tzu's take is profound. Real victory isn't beating someone down, it's getting them to drop their guard willingly. Next time you're in a standoff, will you try outsmarting instead of outfighting? Chapter 4. Blend stability and surprise, tactics of balance. In the military disposition chapter, Sun Tzu says, the best warriors of old made themselves unbeatable first, then waited for the enemy to slip. He's all about standing firm so you can't lose, then striking when they falter. He adds, meet them head-on with stability, win with surprise. It's about holding steady with your main force while catching them off guard with a twist, solid yet adaptable. That's Sun Tzu's art of war. Huzliang pulled this off during the Three Kingdoms' 6 campaigns from Mount Qi. He kept his main army quiet in Hanzhong, looking safe, but sent Wei Yan sneaking behind to hit Wei's supply lines. It didn't fully work out, but the steady surprise mix had Wei scrambling. Huzliang's calm front hid his real play: wars not brute force, it's timing. Take the Warring States Longping showdown between Lian Po and Hao Kuo. Lian Po dug in, wore Qin down with a scorched earth stall, aiming to outlast them with patience. But King Hao swapped him for Hao Kuo, who went all out attacking and got boxed in by Qi, losing everything. Lian Po's steady game avoided a quick fall. Hao Kuo's reckless surprise ignored the base and crashed. Sun Wu's brilliance is in that balance. Stability and shock need each other. This fits modern teamwork too. A leader plotting a project keeps the core humming along but leaves room for curveballs. In product design, one crew nails the basics while another experiments nail the wild idea, and you've got a game changer. Sun Wu puts it perfectly: stability keeps you alive, surprise makes you win. Can you find that sweet spot in your own work? Chapter 5. Momentum Unleashed: The Art of Force. In the military momentum chapter, Sun Wu writes, "Good fighters win through momentum, not just demanding it from their men. Great leaders craft a winning situation, not just lean on grit." He describes it: "Momentum's like a drawn bow, release it, and it's thunder. Once it's built up, it's unstoppable." That's Sun Wu's high note on force. Bai Qi in the Warring States Longping battle nailed this. He faked a retreat to lure Hao's army in, cut their supplies, and starved them for over 40 days. When Hao's spirit broke, Bai Qi hit hard, wiping out 400,000 troops. That rolling victory wasn't about numbers, it was timing the perfect push. Bai Qi knew momentum's the secret engine, turning small strength into a tidal wave. Or take Cao Cao at Guandu in the Three Kingdoms. Up against Yuan Shao's massive army, he harassed their grain routes and torched their stash at Wuchao. Yuan's men crumbled, and Cao Cao's charge flipped the odds from tiny to total. He got that head-on with suicide. Chaos gave him the winning surge. Sun Wu likens force to an arrow: the longer you pull, the harder it hits. In today's world, this clicks for business. A startup catching a trend like tech breakthroughs or new laws can leap from nothing to huge. Shared bikes exploded when cities craved quick transit. That's momentum in action. Sun Wu's tip is gold: real power isn't slugging it out, it's riding the wave. Where's the momentum in your life waiting to be tapped? Chapter 6. Feed off the enemy resource smarts. In the Waging War chapter, Sun Wu says, "Live off the enemy, 1 bushel of their food's worth 20 of ours." War eats resources, and hauling supplies far is costly and risky. Smart leaders grab what's there. This knack for resource play is Sun Wu's deep dive into war's economics. When Qin took down the 6 kingdoms, Wang Jian showed it off against Chu. He didn't bank on Qin's distant stocks. He seized Chu's grain and gear along the way, easing his load and starving their fight. Wang Jian knew long supply lines could choke an army. He fed his off Chu's own stores and crushed them. Fast forward to the anti-Japanese wars base areas. The 8th Route Army, strapped for stuff, got locals growing food, nabbed Japanese supplies, and turned enemy guns against them. That feed off the enemy trick kept bases alive in brutal times. Sun Wu saw war's not just troops, it's logistics. This works in modern life too. An entrepreneur tight on cash? Don't burn out, partner up and use someone else's network or tech to grow fast. Shared economy firms thrive by tapping unused stuff. Sun Wu's all about borrowing strength, not going it alone. Next time you're stuck, can you spot the enemy's stockpile to use? Chapter 7. Sun Wu himself, the shadow genius. Behind the art of war stands Sun Wu, a faint but dazzling figure. Born in Qi, he served Wu, helping King He dominate with his military genius. Legend says he drilled palace maids into a crack unit, proving his iron grip to the king. But history barely sketches him. He's like a thinker dodging the spotlight. His end's a mystery. Did he vanish into the hills or die far from home? Sun Wu's mind blows you away. In 13 sharp chapters, he packs war's messy rules, each line cutting like a blade. His grasp of human nature runs deep. Know your enemy, know yourself fits the battlefield and beyond. His retreat might have been exhaustion with war's toll or a shrug at fame and fortune. He built Wu's glory, then walked away at his peak. That choice alone screams wisdom. His low profile mirrors his ideas. Real strength's quiet, not loud. No statues, no tombs, just words that echo through millennia. His exit makes you wonder, Isn't wisdom's worth in peace within, not applause outside? Who was Sun Tzu? A general, sure, but a philosopher too, leaving us his final gift. Chapter 8 echoes through time the book's lasting pulse. The art of war ripples across history. In the spring and autumn period, Wu Zixu used alliance breaking to team Qi against Chu, paving Wu's way to sack their capital. Sun Bin's surround Wei, save Hao outfoxed Wei's assault with flair. Qin's Wang Jian, uniting the Six Kingdoms, fed his army off Chu to lighten Qin's load. Han Xin flipped the odds at backwater with a cornered genius stroke. Jump to modern times, the anti-Japanese guerrilla war leaned on Sun Tzu hard. Mao Zedong's on protracted war, they advance, we retreat. They camp, we harass. Channels stay unbeatable first. The Eighth Route Army turned terrain and locals into weapons, grinding down Japan's edge. These figures are like Sun Tzu's heirs, turning his words into battlefield magic. Their fates tug at you too. Wu Zixu won Wu glory but died for blunt honesty. Sun Bin beat Pang Wan but limped from old wounds. Wang Jian retired quietly, barely remembered. Their highs and lows echo Sun Tzu's own fade-out wars. Wisdom and humanity tangle tight. His book's a mirror, showing triumph's shine and life's fragility. Chapter 9 Lessons for today. How the book lights our path. The art of war isn't just for battlefields, it's for all of us. It's big ideas, strategy, info, wisdom, timing, momentum, resources glow in modern life. Plan before acting pushes us to prep, not lead. Think of an entrepreneur scoping the market before betting big. Know yourself, know them fits relationships. Parents who get their kids' stress and passions connect better. Win without fighting sparks cooperation over clashes. A manager turning a rival into a teammate nails it. Stability plus surprise works in projects. Stick to the plan but toss in a wow factor for the win. Momentum unleashed says timing beats grinding. A student hitting key study bursts aces the test. Feed off the enemy means use what's out there. A freelancer tapping free tools or skills levels up smart. Picture this. You're a newbie at work with a tough team gig. Analyze strengths and gaps, map it out, then drop a killer idea at the right moment. Boom, you shine. Or you're a startup founder low on funds. Don't go broke, link up with a partner and ride their wave. Sun Tzu's book is a toolbox for every choice you face. Chapter 10 Philosophical edge, where his wisdom hits limits. Sun Tzu's brilliance runs deep, but it's not flawless. The art of war obsesses over winning, sidestepping victory's cost or meaning. War's wins often leave bodies and broken societies behind. He loves win without fighting, but sometimes clashes can't be dodged. Know both sides. What if everyone does, locking into an endless stalemate? Momentum like thunder, but if it spirals wild, how do you rein it in? Cow's a case study. Guandu's win was pure Sun Tzu. Red Cliff's flop came from overconfidence, missing know them. His ideas need a sharp user. Blind copying can backfire. It's a tool, not a gospel. Human quirks and real-world mess set its edge. Philosophically, Sun Tzu's got a Taoist vibe. Go with the flow, like Laozi's act without forcing. Yet his strategy first clashes with Confucian. Kindness conquers. His retreat hints at shrugging off worldly gain. A wise detachment. His book's not just tactics, it's a spark for big questions. What's victory worth, and where does wisdom end? Chapter 11 Closing wisdom's timeless beacon. The art of war is about war, sure, but it's really about wisdom. It says true strength's in your head, not your blade. Real wins control the game, not just the body count. Sun Tzu's pen left a beacon burning through centuries, guiding battlefields and beyond. General, CEO, or just you, this book whispers, stay cool in a fight, think before you leap, face trouble with brains. His wisdom's no distant relic, it's right there for us to grab. It's not just how to win wars, it's how to win at life. Every choice you face is a little battle, and the art of war is your map. Ready to tackle your next challenge with some ancient smarts?